Hey guys, welcome to the RAMZPAUL show. Boy, it's been a busy day with Donald Trump, and I thought we'd get together and discuss everything he did on the first day. He said he would be busy on the first day, and he did not disappoint. He came in like a bull in a china shop, just crashing everything, taking no prisoners. This is a Trump we all loved, right? This is the guy we liked. He got his mojo back that he sort of lost at the last of in his last term. I hope it continues. And about that, I'm getting tired of people that are always bitter and negative. Yeah, there's going to be bad things. And no, I'm not a guy that rides Trump's dick. I'm not that guy. I'll never be that guy. And when he does stupid things, I'll call him out on it. But the way some people complain, I've always said there's some people you could hand them a bag of gold worth $10 million dollars and they would still bitch. They would say, oh, it's too heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Why'd you give me this bag of gold? It's strained my shoulder. Some people are just never happy. And we live in the real world, not some fantasy world. Jared Taylor's president. That's not going to happen. So we got to be happy with what we get, and anything that moves things in our direction, I think is a positive. I think it's a positive. Why complain about that? And there's a lot of people, they make their whole spiel or the whole shtick is about being negative about everything. And I just don't think that's the way to go. It doesn't really appeal to people. It's it doesn't attract people. Part of attracting people to like a cause, a movement, whatever you want to call it. I hate the term movement, by the way, but what we are, right? You got to have something that people can say, yeah, that makes sense. This is normal. This is provides a good life for our people. That's what you want. You want people that are happy in general. They're not just always mopey and all these weird, the world isn't even round, it's flat. People don't want nutty people. They don't want nutty people, and they don't want people that are constantly complaining about everything. And I would just like to see us collectively, and I include myself in it. I mean, we got to go over some good things. So I thought I would do a stream today just going over some of Trump's executive orders, the things that have already happened in the past day in the inauguration. And I want to rate it from a 1 to 5 star rating. That's kind of fun. Where 5 stars, just, best ever, super cool. 1, it means it really sucks. I don't like it. 3's like, it's okay. And I also will kind of temper it based on how easy it is. Some things are just low-hanging fruit, and those are good. They're not hard to do, but there's sometimes can be symbolic. If there's no cost involved, why not do it? So I thought we'd just go over some of those. It's been a lot. I had like this whole list, and we're going to go through the whole list. And if you guys want to get involved with the discussion, I have Powerchats on right here below. I appreciate those. YouTube has super chats. By the way, my stream yesterday was taken down on YouTube. I think I mentioned this. It was like some weird copyright thing. It's just bullshit. Because based on actually their standards, it should have been up because it was something of the national interest, right? I was commenting on the inauguration, for God's sakes. But whatever. So I had to take like this online class. I didn't get a strike, but before... so I get rid of the warning. I had to take an online class. It took like 5 minutes. One of those stupid, if you've ever been in the business world, you have to take sexual harassment class. So YouTube makes you go through a struggle session. It's so ridiculous. But so I probably won't live stream if there's ever a presidential debate or the State of the Union address, because I'm sure YouTube would figure somehow that's a copyright. So yeah, it's just so ridiculous. So in those situations, I will just be on Rumble and X. So thank you guys for supporting me there. But I'm on YouTube today because I didn't get a strike. There was no penalty. I'm still streaming. So you can give me super chats on YouTube's. Rumble has rants. Love Rumble. Power chats and stream elements. Oh, and I want to remind you, tonight we're going to have a roundtable. The theme for tonight's roundtable at 7 p.m. is, we're going to discuss what Trump is doing his first day. And if you're interested in joining my roundtable, just subscribe to me on my Substack here. And let me see here. Let me just back this up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can see it. And Substack is sort of my go-to place now. I used to be on Group App and Gumroad, and I still am. Like tonight, I would still post my link on Gumroad. But by the end of February, I will be off of Gumroad and Group App. And the reason I mentioned this before, but Gumroad just had so many technical problems. It wasn't sending out emails timely and everything else. So I look at Substack and I'm like, Substack is like huge. It's pretty, they don't censor, and everyone's on Substack. It's a big tool. It's like equivalent to Patreon in size. So, and it's for content creators, and I like it. And also on Substack, I pretty much every day now create an essay. Most of them are free if you guys want to check it out. And today I talked about Elon Musk and his salute. That was ridiculous. We'll talk a little bit about that. So join me on Substack. I would appreciate that. All right. And tonight, again, we have our roundtable at 7 p.m. and we'll all get together and discuss some of these things. Okay. So let's go over some of the things that happened today. And let me just see if everything's running okay. Okay, this is good. Let me look at my Rumble, make sure all right. I'm going well there. All right. So the first thing we had, we're going to go through these, and I'll give you my star 1 to 5. And the first thing was kind of minor, but the renaming of Mount McKinley. And Mount McKinley was that since 1917. It's the highest peak in the United States, and it's Alaska. I have seen it. I've been to Alaska. It's pretty impressive. And they renamed it under the Obama administration to Denali, I think it was, because the Eskimos or some bullshit. But this is our state, is part of America. We bought it fair and square from the Russians, Alaska. We have the right to name things. And this can be seen as kind of one of those, who really cares? But this falls into the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit just means stuff that you can do that's easy. It doesn't really require much, but it has some benefits, so why not do that? Typically, like in the business world, you do the low-hanging fruit first because you can pop that out real quick. Why not? And at first, it was like, really, what's up with this? But it does kind of make sense symbolically. What this does is it's bringing back our culture, proud to be an American, because we've had so much bullshit in the schools and the media that Americans, specifically white Americans, European Americans, are evil historically. Our ancestors, we stole everything from the Indians. Like, no, we didn't. It was mostly unsettled land. There were a few savage tribes, and a lot of them joined us. I mean, it's all bullshit. And we made a great nation, our ancestors. But there's been a push to denigrate everything that we did, and that's like changing names and all that kind of crap. And it's nice to see Trump actually reversing some of that. I've never seen that reversed. All across the world, they've been trying to erase like white naming of geographic places and so forth. And this is the first time I've ever seen it reversed. So it's symbolic. It really is. And it doesn't really cost anything. I like it. I give this a 5-star. I give it a 5-star. And the reason I give it a 5-star, originally I was like a 3-star. I'm like, well, what's the point? But when I think about it, there is a lot of symbolism here. And it didn't cost anything. It's quick. It's easy. Why not? And it's rolling back some of this bullshit against our ancestors. I think we need to give Trump a lot more credit for that. I know there's a lot of pushback on people in our sphere that, oh, Trump won't ever say the word white. You know, he praises Hispanics, blacks, Asians, but never whites. But he does a lot of things that are implicitly white, right? And saying Mount McKinley, that is implicitly a pro-white, pro-American position. Uh, I like it. So I give that a 5-star. That was the easy win for Trump. And so I give that a good one. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that was a pretty solid, pretty solid. All right, let's see the next one here. And so we talked about Mount McKinley. Here's this one. Let's take a look at this in the naming things. And again, when I first heard this one, I was like, what the hell? A Gulf of America. The area formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico has long been an integral asset to our nation and remained an indelible part of America. And so, at first I was like, what the heck? It's always Gulf of Mexico. But we have America. This is the continent of America, even Mexico. So it kind of makes sense. And we have more shoreline against the Gulf of America than Mexico. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay. And I'm not going to tolerate dead naming. If you dead name it was always been Gulf of America. It's kind of like Elliot Page was always a man. He played in Juno as a girl, but he was always a man. It was never Ellen Page. That name never existed. That's dead naming. Don't dead name. So I'm going to do the same thing. You can't dead name it. It's always been Gulf of America. That's always been that way. We got to erase everything from the maps. And again, this seems kind of silly, I know, but kind of like Mount McKinley, it's a little bit, it's a little, it's a symbol. Sometimes symbols are important though. They really are. Trump understands this. And it's like, we're proud to be America. And why not? Call it Gulf of America. GOA, Gulf of America. I like it. I don't know. I'll give this like a 4-star. I like Mount McKinley better because it's more our heritage and the President McKinley. But Gulf of America, I'm okay with that. I warmed up to it. And again, there's really not much cost. I guess, we have to change the maps. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I think this is good. And it kind of gives people pride in America. So why not? I'm okay with that. So that happened. I warmed up to it. Initially, I heard about all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? This just seems like a lot of nonsense. But the more I think about it, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. So the Gulf of America, so we had Mount McKinley and Gulf of America. And let me look at my next one here. I accidentally closed my my resource here. All right. Okay. Here's this one. We'll take a look at this. The other thing he did yesterday, he's a busy day. We have a lot of stuff to go through. Trump, unlike Biden, remember Biden? He couldn't hardly get through one day. The press had to shield Biden from everyone because Biden would start rambling senile. Then he'd have to take a nap. Trump, he had the inauguration, was dancing, met all these people. And then he was busy doing all this work. Pretty cool. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and global terrorists. Again, this is primarily gives the United States more flexibility in using the military now against the drug cartels and even potentially those assholes like the Venezuelan gang members. I forget the name of the gang, but where they took over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Well, now, because they're designated as a foreign terrorist, they can just be shot dead by the military, which I support. So that bullshit's going to end right now. And the drug cartels, they're not really controlled by Mexico. Mexico's really a failed state. Yeah, you have, technically it's Mexico, but Mexico City doesn't really control northern Mexico. The drug cartels do. They run the government. They control the police and everything because of their power. And they're starting to spill into the United States. And Trump was asked, would he use special forces or the military to go after them in Mexico? And he said, yeah, you never know. Stranger things have happened. So this makes it easier to go after those organizations and shut them down. And I think this is, I'd rather our military fight stuff like this next to our border than worry about Gaza or Ukraine. This is more impactful to the people in the United States. This is more of a key to us. This is right on our border. They're very violent. They like to behead people, torture people. Well, fuck them. They need to feel the heat of the American military on them. And we know where their bases are. And Mexico won't do shit about it because Mexico's weak and corrupt. So whatever, we just need to go in and take care of these and eliminate these cartels, or at least make it very difficult for them to operate. So, all these cartel leaders, they have their mansions and all that. They could just be totally assassinated and eliminated by the United States. And this makes it easier to do that sort of thing. So again, I got to give this a 5-star. This is actually protecting the United States, and I'm okay with that. I think this is a better thing. So I give that a good one. So that is a 5-star one for me here. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let me just, hey guys, I'm going through looking at all my comments on the Rumble. And let me just check here real quick to YouTube. Hey, it's good to see you. It's good to see a lot of you. Kill a commie for mommy. He's been with me forever. It's great to see all you guys. All right, let's go over another one. We're going through these. There's a lot of 4 and 5 stars already. I've been happy with these. Okay. This is definitely a 5-star. This is a big one. Reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. This is officially ending DEI in the government. DEI was a policy called diversity, equity, and inclusion. And equity is not the same thing as equality. Equity means promoting blacks and Mexicans over white people, even if white people are more qualified. So this is really good. This is going to hire officially, the official policy of the American government now is to base it on merit, not based on if you're a homosexual or if you're black or whatever. Now they're going to run into issues with this because the numbers aren't going to be the same, because if you just hire based on talent and ability, you're going to get a lot of white people, a lot of Asians, and you're not going to get so many blacks or Mexicans. And that's going to create an issue because even the GOP believes in the racial equality myth, which is a myth. I won't go over that again. So they're trying to square the circle, which is going to be hard for them. But still, this is good. And again, a lot of people complaining about Trump, that he's not interested in white people. This primarily helps white people and Asians to get hiring. And if you don't understand how this works, this even impacts private businesses, because I used to work in the corporate world, and a lot of government contracts, they have a DEI mandates, meaning you can't bid on a contract unless you have so many blacks or lesbians or Mexicans in positions, and they look at that. And hopefully this will end that practice. So they'll just look at who can provide the best service. Say if you're selling a computer system to the government, they will just evaluate which vendor has the best system at the best price. They won't have to look at who has the most blacks or who has the most lesbians. So this is a really good thing. And also, the law in the government sets an example for corporate America. So this should spill over in corporate America. As we've seen ever since George Floyd, corporations, 94% of the hiring jobs did not go to white men. White men have been excluded from the hiring process because of their race and our sex, and resumes just thrown out. This is going to make that, ease that a little bit. So this is a 5-star thing. This is a huge issue, and I'm excited about this 100%. It's going to run into issues, but again, I got to give that a 5-star position on that. So I really do like that. All right. boy, we're just going through all these things. And again, I've been excited about everything I've seen so far. So let's take a look at some more stuff here. All right. Some more proclamations from Trump here. Temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing and renewal of the federal government leasing and permitting practices for wind projects. Yeah, the wind, Trump is real opposed to these stupid windmills. If you've ever driven on I-70 in Kansas, it's just a blight on the land. These windmills are huge. They're not energy efficient. They cost a lot to build. They don't half the time work right. They're very damaging to the environment. They kill a lot of birds. And in the case in the oceans, they've actually killed a lot of whales and marine life. They're very damaging to the environment. And despite I'm right wing, I don't know the reason despite. I'm very pro-environment. I don't want this country to be trashed. I like the beauty of nature. I'm not like some animal rights activist. I don't have problems with hunting or anything like that. But I believe in keeping a healthy like deer population, bear population, and whales. I don't put animals above people. But I believe even as a Christian, we are stewards of the earth and we should care for it in a proper way. Most other countries or nationalities will not. They have no care. They don't care about the animals or the environment like India or China. They just throw shit in the ocean. I don't believe that. I'm against pollution. I want things to be clean. And I don't want to see the whales killed by these stupid wind turbines that are not efficient anyway. Hopefully, so we're going to stop this, and hopefully we'll start tearing them down. I want to drive on I-70 without seeing these damn ugly things everywhere. So hopefully that will happen. So we're finally getting some pushback on a lot of this nonsense of the green myth. And I think it's good to see how that is happening here. All right. So I give that a 5-star. I have nothing against that. I think that is a really good one. And another that's huge. And again, I don't see any negatives of that. And Trump did that on day one. But he's not done. Now, by this time, Biden would already be in bed, but not Trump. He just kept going here. Holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive government information. This is Trump going after the security clearances of a lot of people, what we call the deep state. These are people that are not elected, but they haven't been accountable, and they try to subvert the will of the people. People like John Bolton, he means like neocons that have used secret government information to try to terrorize people politically because they don't like your politics. Trump is holding these people accountable. This is huge. So this is a Trump getting in and saying, no, we'll just let it go. He's going after these people, at least by taking away their security clearance. Again, it's an easy win, low-hanging fruit. There's really no negative about this. It actually shows he means business. I give this a 5-star too. That is good to see, and it was wonderful that has happened. Very, very positive about that. All right, let's see here. But we got some more stuff here. Oops, hit the wrong button here. Let's take a look at some more stuff here. Some more declarations here. This was a big one. Granting pardons and communications of sentences for certain offenses relating to the events at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Trump promised pardons, and he delivered. Last night on X, I retweeted some. It was so good to see. There was a lot of people that were falsely convicted. They weren't violent. They just were in the Capitol trespassing offensives. They didn't hurt anyone. But because of political reasons, a lot of them were thrown into solitary confinement. They were abused by guards, basically tortured. Horrible, horrible what had happened to them. This is after BLM and Antifa went 4 years of murdering people, burning places down. They didn't do shit. And because people on the right protested, and they made a myth of 5 police officers that were killed. That was a lie. That was a big myth, a big lie. And the left has a history of making these big lies. I won't go into all of them, but that was one of them. And Trump, I thought this would delay. I thought it'd be like, okay, I'm in now. We'll set up a review board and go this case by case. No, he pretty much did a blanket pardon. And people are getting out of prison. This is a really good thing. And I'm really happy what has happened here. This is good. And again, if people did violent crimes, that's a different matter. I support them being charged. But for just peacefully protesting, this was bullshit. And the left, they were trying to make January 6th, their modern day Holocaust or some other bullshit thing like that. And this is all fell apart for them. You remember that January 6th commission? They all had to get preemptive pardons because they're a bunch of criminals. They excluded evidence. It was a kangaroo court. They were attacking people for their politics. Fuck them. They should go to jail. So this is good. The whole January 6th thing is being rehabilitated, and now it's going to be seen, I think, in the future as Patriots Day, where people stood up against the corrupt government. So great for Trump doing this. 5-star rating. A lot of people, they're, with tears of joy. They're out of prison now. I give this a 5-star. Trump came through. He didn't dink around on this. I thought he would. I thought he would take forever to go through all this, but he didn't do that. So that was good. A 5-star position on that one. Again, I'm sorry if you guys want to be blackpilled. I'm just warning you, this is not the stream today. This isn't your blackpilled stream. This is a lot of white pills that Trump dropped. And I know he could all think on us in the future. Don't get me wrong. And, it gets frustrating. People say, oh, he mentioned Hispanics and blacks and I forget what else, but he didn't mention white people. Oh, come on, the stuff he's doing, though. I mean, most of the January 6 people were white. Gulf of America, Mount McKinley, ending DEI. This is primarily in helping white people. So you got to have a bigger picture here a little. You have to see really what matters. And I think that was a key thing. All right, we're going to get some more wins here, some more executive orders. I mean, this guy was just on fire yesterday. Another executive order, reevaluating and realigning the United States foreign aid. So they put a 90-day pause on foreign aid to these countries. And I'm not sure if this includes Ukraine. I would presume it does. But we've been the sugar daddy to the world. Everyone's trying to milk off us. And Trump is saying, no, we're going to put a pause for 90 days to see what the hell's going on. There's a lot of corruption that happens in the foreign aid program, including Ukraine, right? Zelensky's wife, when they went to the United States, she went on $1 million shopping spree for jewelry in New York City. Fuck that. That's being paid for by your tax dollars. And Trump is going to be ending that bullshit. So I think this is again, this could impact Ukraine. And it was also interesting when we're talking about Ukraine, Trump didn't mention Ukraine at all in his address, inauguration address. Not one mention of Zelensky. I guess Zelensky wanted to be part of the inauguration, and the Trump administration said, no, you don't need to come here. So I think there's change in the air. This is definitely a good thing. We need to look at our foreign aid, and including our best little friend Israel, and reevaluate it. And again, this isn't necessarily ending the foreign aid, but it's putting a pause on it for, 60 days. So that is a good one, and I support that 100%. That's a 5-star. I know I'm giving all these 5 stars. I feel like I shouldn't give everything a 5-star, but That is a key one. Foreign aid and the waste of the money there, this is huge. All right, another 5-star one. Declaring a national energy emergency. I would actually, yeah, I'll give this a 5-star. I thought this was another emergency. So this is opening up the drilling again, as Trump says, drill, baby, drill, opening up the pipelines, helping our energy independence again. And this 100% will help with the economy. It also will help with inflation because lower energy prices means lower prices at the store because it doesn't cost as much to ship the products. This is huge. There's no reason. We have some of them, I think, the most natural gas and oil in the world, what we have in Alaska, off the coast of California, in the Arctic. We are a very wealthy nation when it comes to oil and energy. There's no energy shortage. We should be exporting to the world. And again, this is reversing the Biden policy of trying to shut everything down. We're getting rid of all this green hoax bullshit. And this is good. So this is going to, I think, help quite a bit in the economy and everything else energy-wise. And again, I would give that a 5-star. All right. Let's see here. This is the next one is restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. So again, they're going to go after the death penalty for serious crimes on a federal basis. And I'm okay with the death penalty. I think it's a way to reduce repeat offenders. I don't have the data, but people that have been executed, I don't think they do repeat offenses. I would have to look. I'll ask AI if they could do the statistics of that. But some people, especially like some illegals come here, rape and murder some girls like have happened. That person should not be sent back to Venezuela. That person should be swinging from a rope, swinging from the rope. That's what needs to happen. And we need to get tough with these people and make it clear we're not going to tolerate them and we're not going to pay for the room and board and clothe them. Bullshit. Now, we just pay for, I would just pay for a piece of rope and then drop them off in the cemetery. So I'm okay with that. I'll give that a 3-star just because it's okay. It's not a huge one for me. I'm giving out too many 5 stars. So just to be more balanced, I'll give that a 3-star. But that is pretty good. All right. This one is most recent. It has to do with, it's going to get in a fight with California. And this is putting people over fish, stopping radical environmentalism to provide water to Southern California. Part of the issue we see in Southern California is because California is a one-party state. Gavin Newsom, they've done things to really harm the people. California is almost unlivable now. It's sad. It's a beautiful state, but it's unaffordable. People are leaving California. California used to be the golden state in the 70s and 80s. Everyone wanted to move to California. Great weather, great opportunity. No more. No more. Now it's a Democrat state, and people are leaving. High taxes, expensive to live there. And now with the recent LA fires, we see a total mismanagement of the resources. They don't know how to clear the forest. They got rid of a lot of the water because, some snail darter may endanger them or something. So they tore down dams and a lot of the reservoirs were dry. And because of that, they weren't able to put out these fires. They've always had fires in Southern California. It's not climate change. When I was a kid, I remember watching the show Emergency. There would always be brush fires in Southern California. Southern California is a very dry area, susceptible to brush fires because they have a lot of brush and they have high winds. But they were always able to manage it because they had competence. They had firemen. They could actually fight the fires. They had the water. They had the proper resources. Now we have a lot of people that are incompetent, that were firefighters that are more about their being lesbians or whatever versus their qualifications. They let the water run dry, the reservoirs, and we see the disaster that has happened. So Trump put this proclamation that he's going to fix Southern California so they have the proper water and they can help protect the state. Because California, like it or not, is still part of the United States, and Trump is going to do things to help the people in California. I don't know. I like this because, again, it's going against the radical environmentalism. Again, as someone on the right, I like the environment. One of the reasons I'm opposed to immigration, we don't need more people in this country. I don't want to see the forest land torn down. I like the deer. I like the animals. I like clean water. So I'm pro-environment, but I don't want this craziness that we've seen from these loons, which in many cases is actually against the environment, like the windmills actually hurt the environment. So I'm glad we're getting this visibility to the issue. But at the same time, it helps California, and I'm kind of getting like, part of me wants to say fuck them, but I guess they're Americans. I put this as a 3-star, a 3-star. I guess I'm okay with it. It's one that I'm not too excited about, but I guess I could see that. So that was happening for that. All right. I almost missed one. This is a key one too that I think was really good. And if you guys have questions, go ahead. I have super chats up or rants or power chats. Love to get it. All right, we're going to continue though. We got a lot of just evaluating day one. I'm exhausted already. And this guy's near 80 years old and he put this all together. So good for him. I didn't see this one coming, but this is really cool. A lot of us, there's been a segment on the internet, have talked about the importance of beauty and architecture. And I knew this when I lived in Budapest, because it was a real stark difference. You had the old, ugly communist buildings that everyone hated to be around. Then you had the 19th century, early 20th century, beautiful Gothic architecture, gorgeous. The Parliament building in Budapest is just wonderful. I used to like to sit in the park next to it. Architecture matters. Beauty matters. And ever since the early 20th century, there's been certain people that have been trying to uglify everything in the world. They started with modern art. They try to make art instead of beautiful, ugly. Instead of beautiful paintings, just put literal shit out there. Is trying to degrade the soul. Maybe these people don't have a soul. I don't know. But they try to make buildings ugly, everything ugly. And so Trump, there's the proclamation, anything new, we need to have something beautiful, something we can be proud of. This is kind of hidden. I didn't hear this discussed much, but I put this as a 5-star. This doesn't cost anything. It requires, though, people to actually look at it, things to be more enjoyable. This adds to your life. And I really like this. I was surprised that they actually did this sort of thing. So I give that a 5-star. I was not expecting that. I was pleasantly surprised with that one because beauty does matter. And that was definitely the situation there. All right, so let's see what else we got here, because that's not it. That's not it. We got a lot of stuff going there too. Let's see here. This next one, of course, is a huge one. A lot of the reasons people voted for Trump is securing our borders. By authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, they declared a national emergency at the border, and we're stopping people from coming in. Already, the media is trying to do look at this poor Mexican woman or wherever the fuck. Oh, she's crying. Look at her tears. I'm like, yeah, I know it's horrific. She has to live with her own people. But look at this way. We're preventing her from being exposed to the evils of white supremacy, right? The United States is all white supremacy fascist. I don't want to expose people to that. So they need to go back to their homelands so they don't be exposed to our white supremacy. They'd be happier there, I think. I don't know why they want to come here anyway. So the border now is closed, and they look like they're serious about it. So they had that stupid app that Soros put together in the United States government to allow people to stay in the United States and get welfare. Fuck that. That app's been shut down. The border shut down. If you want to apply for asylum, you're not going to run around in America. You got to stay in Mexico. That is in now. The border is basically fixed overnight because it's not that hard to fix it. Trump has also authorized the military to help protect the border, and they're going to build the wall, continue with the wall. And the wall's more symbolic, but we can really fix the immigration problem. Illegal immigration problem is easy to fix. You just don't give them welfare, and you don't allow them to work in America. Any business that hires an illegal, you lose your business. So if you're a business owner and you hire Pedro that's illegal, well, you lose your business. And because of that, most of the people will go back to their homelands because they don't give a shit about America. They just want to get the free stuff out of us because their people can't create it. So this is good. This is definitely a 5-star thing. It doesn't help with illegal immigration. I know, but we'll get to that. But I'm not going to protest stopping the illegal immigration. And I'm happy with this. So this has been very good on that. So this has been a big win, stopping that. All right, here. Let's see here. Oh, I got from Damian Thorne. Thank you, Power Pass. Did you see Biden pardon dirtbag Leonard Peltier? I didn't see that. I'm not surprised Biden, before he left office, if you look at the charts of the presidential pardons throughout history, he was like off the radar. And Biden pardoned like everyone. It was a criminal clan. And again, Biden, I use Biden in quotes because Biden, as we learned, everyone's admitting now, was totally senile. He was just a prop in his Marxist staff. They just had him, hey, sign here, this old man. You don't even know. He didn't even know what he was signing. So I don't know if he put together the list or probably someone else did. If I was Trump, I would revoke those pardons. We're in a new era, and that's what needs to happen. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that power chat. I do appreciate that. All right. So, again, we just keep winning. We just keep winning. Here's another one. This is huge. This is a 5-star. I know. I couldn't believe he did this on day one. This is great. Protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Right away, not everyone can be an American citizen. And just because you come to America and pop out a baby doesn't give you an anchor baby that you can stay in America. Fuck that. So basically, this is to eliminate the anchor babies. The reason this amendment was first put into the Constitution, and this is probably going to go to the Supreme Court, was to make sure the American slaves would become American citizens. It didn't mean everyone from Haiti and across the world could fly in and have a baby and that kid's an American citizen. No, fuck that. That's stopping. Already, this is stopping a lot of the citizen tourship where you get pregnant women fly in just to pop out a baby here so they can become an American citizen and siphon off resources. No, that's going to stop. That stopped yesterday. There's going to be a challenge in the Supreme Court, but this is a key one. We got to stop this birthright citizenship. 5-star, 100%. This is huge. Great news that Trump put that through. I'm excited about that happened. So good news on that one. All right, let's just see here. Make sure I got everything. You guys have more super chats or power chats? We'd love to discuss this with you. So that's been a good one. And let's see here what else we got here. All right, this is another one that's becoming more important. This is kind of similar. This has to do with immigration. This is realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program. And this is basically to help you just can't call yourself a refugee and come in here. They're going to really limit this. So this is going to, we had all these like Haitians, supposedly refugees, and they cause all sorts of problems in Ohio and other places. That's going to stop. We don't need them. They can stay in Haiti, make Haiti great again. And so this is a policy to help limit these refugees that come in. And if people object, I mean, they could go to another country. They go to Canada, they go to Israel. Yeah, right. But we're full. We're full. Sorry about your sad plight and you can't stand to be around your people. We don't want you either. So that is a good one. Let's see here. I'd give that a 5-star, by the way. This one, I'd give a 4-star. This is really good. Unleashing America's Energy. And again, this was kind of equivalent to the windmill one, but this is to allow us to get more drilling going and get the pipelines going. This is very positive. We need the energy. 100% behind this. This is definitely a win there. So I would give that a 4-star. Pretty cool here. All right. This next one, we shouldn't even need this next one. It should be obvious. Clarifying the military's role in the territorial integrity of the United States. The purpose of the military is not to fight wars for Israel. It's not to fight wars for Ukraine. It's to defend the American people. And that's no, you can't do that. That's fascism. Fuck that. The Trump saying no. The purpose of the military, number one, is to protect our people, our homeland. And that includes the southern border. And so we'll have the military down there to assist the border guards if they need it to keep these illegals from swarming in. That's an invasion. That's why we have a military. I want our military there on our border, not fighting in Gaza or against Iran or against Russia. This is really cool. Again, it's kind of realigning really what the purpose of the military is. I would have to give that a 5-star. That is good. I'm happy to see that one. All right. These are just good stuff here. Okay. This one coming up, it's going to be a 5-star. American First Trade Policy. And what they're going to be doing here is to focus on trying to keep building things in America. And there's a whole bunch of stuff here that explains this, and this may include tariffs. And the goal is, instead of shipping our jobs to Mexico or China factories, let's keep the factories in the United States. Now, I have some issues because we got to stop the H-1B bullshit from, we open a data center, but we don't hire Americans. We get a bunch of Indians. Fuck that. No. We need to hire Americans. But still, this is a good policy that's going to focus on building things in the United States. That means people in the United States get the jobs. That means they're paying taxes. They're not on welfare. That helps the economy. That improves communities. This should be a no-brainer. I 100% support this. The era of globalism and so-called free trade is over. It's been a disaster. We need to go back to the old United States policy of protecting our businesses. Let's see. Oh, got a scam call. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if you guys get scam calls. I think when I put my phone number places, they sell it. So, okay. All right, this could be the one, and I kind of like this. This is kind of a clever one, and I think this is trying to get these federal workers going back. I'm not sure if this is the one getting the federal workers. They have to go back to the office, otherwise they will be they'll be fired. So they're trying to get these federal workers to do their job again, And there are also some policy influence things, there's been a lot of corruption there. I give that a 3-star. Just because I haven't looked at it much, I'm sure it's pretty good, but it's okay there. All right, the next one. This is a 5-star. I was the forefront fighting this stupid COVID bullshit. And the World Health Organization, they pushed a lot of lies that YouTube censors followed that turned out to be bullshit lies about COVID. The United States were withdrawing from the World Health Organization. We can provide great health. We don't need these unelected bureaucrats that are mostly about implementing totalitarian practices, forcing people to get a vaccine, trying to get people fired if they don't do what their edicts. This is good. This is a corrupt organization. We need to pull out of it. 5-star. I would even be happier if he pulled out of NATO. That'd be the next thing. But pulling out of the World Health Organization, that's a big win. 5-star on that. And if you guys remember the COVID nonsense, this is huge. So, hey, I got a rant. Ross, it's great to see you. Rams, do you feel too much negativity occurred with Trump's inauguration? Yeah, I do. Even from Jared Taylor. All right, let's take a look at this tweet from Jared here. Okay, thank you, Rojas. I appreciate your support. As a rant. Jared Taylor, he thanks blacks and Hispanics for their support, never mentions whites. We will make MLK's dream come true. What was that dream? Well, let me answer this. And by the way, disclaimer, I really love Jared Taylor. He's a great man. I've met him multiple times. He's a really good person. Okay. Sometimes I disagree a little bit, though, with him on a few things. And he thanks blacks and Hispanics for their support. Because Trump considers America implicitly white. That's what you have to kind of read between the lines. Yeah, I would have liked him to mention whites too. But his policies, if I was addressing to Jared, are really helping white people. He's eliminating DEI, right? So that if you have a white business, you're trying to get a contract with the government, you're not penalized because of your race. Or if you try to get promoted in the government, you're not going to be, at least theoretically, penalized because of your race. That's a good thing. He has a very pro-American position with jobs. Jobs come back to the United States. That could help white people. He just symbolic things. Call it, instead of, we gotta celebrate the natives, we call it Denali. He's like, fuck that. It's Mount McKinley. And Gulf of Mexico, that's dead naming. It's Gulf of America. So there's been a lot of things that are helping white people, declaring an emergency at the border and shutting down immediately. Illegal immigration is pretty much over now in the United States. That has been shut down. Yes, I know we still have the problem of legal immigration, but I don't want to counter signal the good things that have happened on day one, right? We've made a lot of progress. Is it perfect? Do we need to do more? Yeah, I would like to see all immigration frozen for 20 years. But that's our next step. But right now, this is a good first step. So, yeah, I do think we should celebrate when people do a lot of good things, even if it's not perfect for what we want. That's kind of just my opinion on that. But I understand this to a degree, but because we do want more. Because I thought that initially too. Session and I were talking, he praised blacks and Hispanics. He won't say whites mostly. But, oh well, he does policies that help white people and other people too. So I think that's a good thing. Okay, we're not done winning, guys. We're not done winning. Blame Trump for this. Trump, he's not like Joe Biden that has to take a nap and has to be led around like an infirm man. He just wants his ice cream. Now we have a guy, man, he's like in charge. And he's just, he's keeping me busy with his stream. Blame Trump. He didn't come in like unprepared. Like the first day, he's like, okay, well, let's set up our goals and mission statement. Maybe we'll get committees together and let's think about some things we want to do. Hell no. He was day one. He was ready. I like that. No bullshitting around. And that was a good thing. All right. This one is a application of protecting Americans from foreign adversely controlled applications act to TikTok. What this is Trump has basically said, okay, we're not going to shut down TikTok. The whole TikTok thing was kind of bullshit anyway. The official reason was, oh, it's owned by the Chinese and they could spy on us. But as Trump said, it's mostly like e-thoughts or kids, he said. So you got young girls, they dance to shake their tits in front of the camera, right? That's what they do. And what are the Chinese spying on? American women, they have tits they show to get money. Okay, yeah, big revelation. It's not like some secret data there. That was always a red herring. That was always fake. The real reason they went after TikTok is because TikTok allowed people to be critical of, honestly, the Israeli genocide that was happening in Gaza. I don't know else how to say it. They were eliminating people. It wasn't just going after the terrorists. They were just leveling civilians. Not that I really care about the Palestinians. They're not my people. But it's like, yeah, we're sending money over to Israel and they're just ethnically cleansing. Not a good look. And that was shown a lot on TikTok. And that turned a lot of the young people against the Zionists. And people like Tom Cotton, who are owned by them, I mean, he gets like $200,000 in Israeli funds. Tom Cotton should go to jail for that, by the way. He really should, when you're owned by a foreign country. But that was the reason they banned TikTok. But it's ridiculous. I'm for free speech. I think TikTok, I don't use it because I'm old. But young people, it's like short videos, 30 seconds. And again, girls, they can shake their tits in front of the camera, whatever. If that gets you off. And Trump, the ban has been delayed. They're trying to, I think the United States may have partial ownership now in TikTok. Could be a revenue stream there. So I'm okay with that. I'm against censorship and shutting down TikTok, even though I'm not a big fan of TikTok. And there's a lot of shit libs on TikTok, ironically. And TikTok thanked Donald Trump for getting back online. So that was like red pilling a lot of young people. So I'm okay with this. I give this a 4-star, even though I don't use TikTok. So personally, I don't care. But I think it was the right thing to do. I don't even have TikTok on my phone. I don't use it, but I know a lot of people do. Okay. Let's see here. Woo! Woo! Does this winning ever end? We got a few more here to go through, though. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. And this was key. I give this a 5-star. He withdrew from the Paris climate change bullshit agreement. Thankfully, hopefully that will warm up the earth. Today in Arkansas, I'm here in the Ozarks in Arkansas, the South, right? It was 5 degrees, not Celsius, Fahrenheit. It was cold this morning, 5 degrees. I need it to get warmer. That's why I'm wearing I have a shirt, a sweater, and another sweater I'm wearing now because it's cold. And I try to keep the heat down because it's expensive to run the heat here. It's electric heat, and I have my space heater on. So we need warmer weather. So, but in all seriousness, we don't need to be part of these bureaucratic bullshit. I think all that Greta Thunberg, all that environmental stuff is really passé now when it comes to the global warming hoax. So this is the good news. 5-star withdrawing from the Paris climate treaty nonsense. 5 stars with that. And again, a lot of these organizations, if the United States taxpayer is not there, they're not going to exist very long. So that was a win. Day one, he withdrew from the World Health Organization and also the Paris Accords. All right, let's see here. This next one had to do with inflation. I'd give this one, this is my only kind of low star. This is delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. This is, I give this like a 2 star. So the reason I say you just can't deal with them. Inflation is caused by overspending. You can't just put out a decree that everyone needs to lower their prices, basically. And I know that's the key thing, but this is sort of a meaningless declaration. That'd be like saying, I've declared an executive decree that cancer is illegal. I have banned cancer. Well, that'd be nice, but your decree is not going to change anything. And decreeing the end of inflation is not going to do it. So that's one I'm kind of like, eh. I mean, that's the symbolic one. I'd have to give that a 2. I need to give some low things, right? Because I'm giving everything a high grade. I don't want to be accused of being an easy grader. So I'll give that a 2 because that is economically kind of a bullshit thing. But that's a 2 on that. All right. The next one, I'd give this a 4 star. Hiring freeze. So in the federal government, they have a freeze on hiring. They need, if they could, they should cut the federal government by 50%. The problem is the civil servants, they're not really civil or they're not servants, but they're almost impossible to get rid of. That's why he's trying to force people to go back to work, hoping people will voluntarily quit if they have to go back to work instead of staying home just watching porn all day. They actually have to go to work. They're hoping they get some quit because of that, because they want to stay home and watch porn. But I don't know. They get a good salary for an easy job and great benefits. So he's at least doing a hiring freeze. I give that a 4 star. That's a 4 star. We don't have the money. Our government's too big. A hiring freeze is a good thing. I give that a 4 star. So I could support that. I could support that. All right. This next one, I got to give another 5 star, guys. Another 5 stars coming up. I know. I should be more black-pilled, but it's hard for me. I will get cynical as we go forward, but today, on January 21st, I want to be positive. Restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. This is technically against the first, you shouldn't need an executive action on this because the government trying to censor people is illegal in America because of the First Amendment. But the Biden administration, they were a criminal organization that did illegal practices. And we have proof from Elon Musk and now Zuckerberg. They admitted that the federal government insisted and they threatened businesses like Facebook and what was Twitter to censor people over the COVID hoax and over Hunter Biden's, oh, that's not his laptop, that's Putin. All that lies, and even more. Those people that did that, by the way, in the Biden regime, we need a special prosecutor to go after those people for civil rights violation, and they should have to pay damages to people like myself that received a strike on YouTube because of government pressure to censor people. This is huge. 5 star, we should be the bedrock of America. We're not like England or Canada where they don't have free speech. We believe in free speech. Anyone that tried to violate the free speech in the government, they should be arrested for that. But this is huge. So no more is the government under the Trump administration going to pressure X or Facebook or Google to censor stuff that they don't like. We shouldn't have to have this one anyway because we have the First Amendment, but I'm glad that Trump has put this forward. Remember, he didn't know this in the first term. We're going to monitor the situation. He never did monitor it, and he got censored. Remember, he got censored off Twitter. He's back now. But I think it kind of hit home to him. He didn't realize how bad things had got with these tyrants. And when it comes to the censorship industry. So that was a good one. Hey, I got another power chat from Damian Thorne. Federal workers are not sitting home doing nothing. They are closely monitored. It saves the government money by not having to rent buildings for the workers. Some are more right-wing than you ever thought of being. Yeah, and I always want to be careful, Damian. Not all federal workers. When I make a blanket statement, I don't mean everyone. There's, I'm sure, really good federal workers and stuff. And, but there's a feeling that people that are working at home How much are they really working versus how much are they goofing off? And maybe they have ways of monitoring that. I don't know. But that could be an issue. And yeah, there's a lot of great people that work for the federal government. So whenever I say a statement like that, I'm always using, I guess I should just explain this. It's easy to use broad terms, but there's always a lot of exceptions. Like I sometimes have to catch myself because I do that with California, saying all the shit lives in California. There's a lot of great people in California. There's a lot of base people, a lot of right-wing people. It's a beautiful state. There's a lot of good people in California. So I'm not saying all Californians, right? Or it's like when you bring up women, there's a lot of women that aren't really silly. And TikTok, when I say TikTok is just girls shaking their tits, obviously that's more than that. You know, I'm using hyperbole, so I do use hyperbole. So if you're a right winger, hardworking federal worker, God bless you, and I mean that, I really do. So I'm not trying to make everyone that way, but thank you for that. Let's see here. And the whole work from home thing, let me just talk about that more than just the federal government. The problem with working from home is just not the goof off factor where people, and I don't know about the federal government, but in corporations, people would just do other stuff than their work. But when you go to work, there's a psychology behind that you're in an environment you're supposed to work and you're around other people you can network with. And there's a sense of, I think it makes a difference psychologically than working from home. I think in some cases, in some situations, you can work from home. But in general, I think, I even experienced that as like a programmer. We used to work when I was the programmer in the 80s and 90s, be in the office, and you're around guys and you could say, hey, Joe, what about this? How are you dealing with this issue? And you could bounce stuff off each other really quick. I know you could theoretically do that, at home by Zoom calls and stuff, but it's just more natural, I think, to do that. So, anyway, but the point is, Damien, they're doing that for the people that don't go in, to get them to quit. That's the whole point, because it's impossible, pretty much. It's very difficult to fire someone from as a federal worker. Unlike the corporate world, you can just fire people for whatever reason. So they're trying to figure out how to do that. All right, but thank you for that. Now let's see what else I got here. All these mandates. So the Federalist speech. We talked about the DEI. Some of these I'm just going to go through. This is a 5-star one here. All right. Defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. So, according to the federal government now, executive order, there are 2 genders. I guess I pretty much given up on this. There's 0 genders. Technically, living things have a sex. Genders are for nouns, but whatever. Maybe I'll raise the white flag on this. But anyway, there's 2 sexes, male or female, for humans. And this is key in the sense that the government no longer recognizes a man that wears a dress as being a woman, right? If you're a man that wears a dress, you're a man that wears a dress. You're not a woman. If you're a man that wears a dress that has his wee-wee cut off, you're not a woman. You're a man who wears a dress who has his wee-wee cut off. And this is the official government position now. This is key because the government is a good teacher. And so we don't have to play the pronoun game anymore or any of that nonsense. So that is actually a big one. And a lot of people were tired of that whole gender nonsense that went into the hysteria, which I actually think the whole transgender issues, really the final straw that broke the whole woke ideology. I think it was Dylan McVaney with Bud Light. I think that was the incident that really started to change everything. Where that fabulous gay guy pretended to be a girl selling Bud Light. People are like, nah, we've had enough. And I think as we see this here now. All right. What else here? The Democrats are already suing about this one, so that means it must be good. Establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. This what used to be Elon Musk and Vivek were going to run this. Vivek has already dropped out. Some say that Vivek was pushed out. Vivek is saying no, because I think Vivek plans to run for governor of Ohio, so he doesn't have time for this. So this is sort of Elon Musk thing he's doing. I give this a 3-star. I'm not against efficiency, but the Reagan administration tried this, called the Grace administration. This is getting the waste out of government. Like, who's for waste, right? But the problem is most of the money goes to entitlements, or like the military, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. There's not a lot of waste stuff. I mean, there's some stuff, and you can find, oh, look at the government spending $100,000 to study one-legged lesbians in the Amazon. Okay, yeah, that's a waste of money, but it doesn't really add up to a lot. But we will see. So I'm a little skeptical of this whole thing. And the Democrats are suing, oh, you can't make a new department without our approval. I give it 3-star though. We will see. Maybe I will be pleasantly surprised. We will see about that. All right. So, so that's a dodge. All right. The next one, this is kind of symbolic. I mean, you shouldn't need an executive order for this, but this is American First policy directed to the Secretary of State. This is Rubio. Whereas everything we do based on our foreign policy should be to the benefit of citizens of the United States. So that's our primary objective. It's not for Ukrainians. It's not for Israelis. It's for Americans. We will see. Again, we shouldn't even need an executive order for this. It should just be common sense. But I give this a 3-star, just because it's kind of like, well, well, that is, we will see what happens on there. All right. Let me see. Well, I talked about withdrawing from the Paris Agreement. They declared an emergency at the border of the United States. Let's see here. And I think those were the big ones. Woo! And some of the others were kind of miscellaneous, but those were the big executive orders that Trump did in the first day, which is pretty impressive. Now, a lot of these things are kind of, we will see if it really happens. Like, some of these things are, we're out of the Paris Climate Accords. That's a good thing. But some, like against the DEI, will they still do DEI and discriminate against white men, but call it a different name? That's the concern, because sometimes they laugh that a name gets kind of a bad reputation, so they just change it. It's sort of like sex change. Like, should we do sex change surgery on children? That doesn't sound good. So they call it gender affirming care, but it's the same thing, right? So they may try that bullshit. So the key thing is going to be the implementation, or like doing America first with our foreign policy. I support that, but let's see if that really happens. Does he really cut off aid to Ukraine so we get out pissing away our money in Ukraine? Do we withdraw sending foreign aid everywhere else, including Israel? That we'll have to see if that really happens. Does he go forward with the deportation of illegals? We will see. We will see. But for the first day, I have to give Trump an A+. And if you guys have ever followed me, I'm not a guy that just thinks everything Trump does is magic or wonderful. But I got to give this first day, an A+. Best first day I've ever seen for a president. He came in prepared. He came in hard. They seem pretty serious. So I think this has been a good start of his administration. And it's a disclaimer, it's day one. I always said after 100 days, I want to reevaluate, see where we are. But he's got a good start. Doesn't mean he's going to continue the momentum. I hope he does. But I just got to grade where he is right now. Right now it's A+. So we will see. We will see. I don't know how you guys look at it, but I think it's been pretty positive. So, guys, it's been great being with you today. And as a reminder, subscribe to me on Substack. We're going to have a roundtable where a bunch of people get together and we'll discuss Trump's first day or two and see how things are going. And thank you so much for being here. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.